Episode 22 of the Planet Nintendo podcast. I'm your host, as always, Patrick of NintenTalk, and I am joined by the best co-hosts on the planet, Joe. Joe after work, what's up, man?
What's going on? I'm not still up from yesterday, and I wasn't streaming until 5 a.m. this morning.
I went to bed and I was like, Joe's still streaming?
That's every night.
Yeah, I beat Bayonetta 2 and I beat Faye.
You beat Bayonetta 2 already?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's easier than one.
Bobby, the Nintendo guru, nice to have you back.
Thank you. Apparently you need me back. Incompetent son of a bitches.
Did you watch the episode last week?
I started to, and I was just like, oh, these guys are just horrible.
Joseph
horrible.
was bashing you, bro.
Oh,
I haven't got a chance to watch the whole thing yet. I'm going to go back and watch it. I wish I would have now. Now that you tell me he was bashing me.
He's like, I'm the best Splatoon player.
He wishes. He dreams.
Oh, my God.
So a lot of games coming out, guys, which we will also get to later. So we'll start with Joe. Bayonetta 2, you beat both Faye and Bayonetta?
Yeah, I finished it up. I started Bayonetta 2 yesterday, Friday, when it came out, and then picked it up again today, Saturday, or Sunday.
Your days are so screwed up.
My days
are all you don't sleep, you don't know what day it is.
Oh my God, yeah. Same thing with Faye. Faye I started Friday, then could beat it Saturday night.
But that's not a huge game, right, Faye?
No, but the collectibles, that was me like trying to find like jewels for the power-ups and whatnot that you get throughout the game. I'm still 2 moves short, so you can beat the game without having all the moves. It just makes, things a little bit easier, and you probably have to use some of those moves to get certain gems.
Yeah.
There's like these pink crystals that you get around there.
Speed run record right now is 1 hour and 17 minutes.
Holy crap.
Jesus Christ.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can beat the game. I think the normal playtime's like 3 hours.
That's what I heard on NBC. I heard some people saying like 4 or 5 hours. It's all over the place, just like the reviews.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, the reviews are all over.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And Bobby, what about you, man?
What about me?
Have you been playing some games?
Yeah, dude, that's all I've been doing. I beat the first chapter of Dragon Quest Builders. Chapter 2 is okay, but it didn't grab me like Chapter 1 did, so I've kind of set it aside for the time being. Started playing Bayonetta 1, because I beat Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U.
Nice.
So I started playing Bayonetta 1. Which is hard. I feel like it's harder than Bayonetta 2.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, leaps and bounds.
Yeah. And so I'm playing through that. I'm doing pretty good with that. Touched Faye a little bit. I don't know, man. I'm friends with Zoink, so I don't want to be negative with it, but it didn't grab me the way I thought it would. I don't know. I'm gonna put more time into it before I do a full judgment on it, but I don't know. And then what else have we played? Aqua Kitty UDX. They gave the devs gave me a review code of it, and they sent me an email. Just was like, "Here, you want to review this game?" And I was like, "I'll play the game. I don't know about reviewing it because, yeah." But
did they give that to you randomly too?
They just randomly sent it to me, dude.
Same thing here. I was like, I didn't even.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
Same here.
You got it too?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, at least I feel good then. At least I feel like, thank you to the grade A, people.
I don't know about me.
Yo, would you stop, dude? You are this humble,
This dude's blowing up over here.
Like, stop the bullshit, all right? Nobody believes your humbleness and your nonsense anymore.
Oh my God.
You deserve what you get. Shut your face.
Yeah, I've been played some Faye. Played about 1 hour of it. It's good. I actually like the fact that it just throws you out there. It's like, oh yeah, you're playing a game now. Like there's no tutorials or anything.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Yeah.
It's nice.
And
there's the rules, man. It's like, here you go.
I'm disappointed in everyone that I know, because nobody told me about Bayonetta and how great this freaking game is, man.
What do you mean we told you? It's amazing, dude.
I don't know. I never hear it.
You had a
Oh, you're
360.
nuts, dude. I was so excited when Bayonetta 1 and 2 and 3 got announced. Like, I just didn't think that. I didn't realize that 2. It crept up on me, man. I didn't think it was coming as quickly.
No. He doesn't get a pass. No, you don't get a pass, Pat. You had a 360, didn't you?
I did, but I didn't know that
no.
game.
And you had a Wii U.
Yeah, I know.
I'm done. Show's over.
But I scanned in my Fox amiibo and I'm running around with a tail.
Oh
now.
my god, you
It's
played
awesome.
as the furry.
Are you playing? Okay, wait. Are you playing Bayonetta 1 or 2?
2.
2.
And you can scan in those, so the character costumes carry over to. Oh man,
Yeah.
Because I picked Peach. I just like looking at her ass and her like thong shit. You know?
How did they get away with those costumes?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I saw like, and that's the thing. 1 is like so much more like sexual, like in your face compared to 2. Like you look at 2 and you go, okay,
They played
coy. And then you go into 1 and like she's grabbing like a stripper pole and like I'm like, what in the hell is this?
So yeah, I played like a couple hours of 2, and I'm really excited for 3 now because this game looks. It doesn't. I mean, it definitely you can see the age on it, but I'm excited for 3. So
awesome. So you're doing 2 now. Are you gonna jump back to 1?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it that way.
Good.
See, I did it that way and I couldn't do it that way.
What?
When I played it on the Wii U, right? I jumped into 2 first, and then I just couldn't get into 1. I couldn't go back. So this time I was like, you know what? Let me try 1 first. And I've been pushing through and playing 1 and like enjoying it and learning the story. Because it's just, it was hard to go back when like you kind of knew the storyline of 2 a little bit.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I have my theories about the 2 games. I'll wait till Patrick finishes the game before I say anything.
Yeah, I just heard that the first one was like a lot harder.
Yeah,
and
no, it's not a lot harder. I'm getting through it. If I can get through it,
the challenges are insane in 1 compared to 2.
And then of course I heard that the people were having trouble putting in their digital codes. So I'm running home like, oh my god, putting it in, but it worked. So
yeah, if it didn't, you just contacted Nintendo and they just gave you a new code, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess they were saying if your code starts with a B1, then it should be fine. But if it starts with anything else, maybe that's like a European thing. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, mine. It seems like all the codes I've gotten lately are B1s. Yeah. So it went through no problem.
And then I got Billiards, guys. Great pool game. Great pool.
I saw Josh Thomas talking about it.
I know. I'm like, he likes this game. It literally has 1 song in the game. Has 1 stage, 1 table. Like it's so basic, but it uses the HD Rumble pretty cool. So there's 3 pool games out, guys. Get Billiards. Just called Billiards. The naming of these guys is insane.
How'd they get that one?
There's a game called Billiards and another game called Pool. Like they're getting crazy.
Riveting.
Yeah.
So we have some unfortunate news. I'm gonna give the floor to Bobby real quick. And let us know what's going on, man.
I mean, I'm not sure how much I want to get into, honestly. You know, like, because it's some private stuff that's going on. I did, like, I tried to do, like, an update for my channel, and I did, like, 4 videos. I've made 4 videos, and I'm like, every one is just horrible, because it just comes off so wrong. And it's not the way I want it to come off. So I'm going to tread a little lightly here. So I've kind of stepped back from what I've been doing lately. That step back is going to be even further than I initially expected. I'm having some personal issues between me and my wife and I. And you can kind of read between the lines there of what's going down. But I am. This is touchy, man, because I'm not sure what I want to say, what I don't. About a month and a half ago, 2 months ago now, give or take, she actually left. She wasn't happy with the marriage and the progress of the marriage and the way things were going, and So I we've been talking back and forth trying to figure out what's best solution to do, and it just turns out that selling the house is going to be the first priority of how we progress moving forward. But at this point, my focus has been, and deservedly so, belongs to be on the marriage and not really being sidetracked with YouTube or podcasting and such. So um, I, because I'm not really sure what my future holds, I don't know when I'll be back, and I don't know if I'll be back. And I mean, I'm sure I'll be back in some capacity, meaning like I'll probably be playing games with people or coming to the streams. Like I go to Joe's stream every now and again and pop in when I have time or whatever. And so, I mean, I'm sure I'll be in that capacity still. But as far as like streaming, doing videos, doing podcasts, that stuff is kind of stopping, at least for the time being. And I want people to understand something. It's not like, because I don't want people to get upset with my wife at all. She's not telling me to stop at all. She's okay with me doing what I'm doing, and she's actually encouraging me to continue. But I just, with the fact that she's not here, it's eating me up, and it's making it hard to create content and to come up with stuff, because all I want to do is try to fix what's between us. And I feel like when I do videos and I do content, that kind of puts a wall up and gets in the way of my ultimate goal and what I want, because honestly, the one thing that I've learned through all of this, and I think it's a tale to everybody, is you need to really, like, if this is what you want to do, and all, and that's fine, it really need to still find a balance of what you're doing. I had zero balance. I put all that I was doing ahead of everything else, including my marriage, and that's not the way to go ever. So I just need to figure out what is best for me. And at this point, I feel like she is best for me. And so my objective and my goal is to fix what I can, salvage it if I can. I mean, if I can't, I can't. And that's, I can't force somebody to do something. I could just hope and want something, but we'll see how time goes. But that, I mean, that's kind of like grazing through a little bit or whatever. We are still talking. We still talk every day. We're getting along. It's not like we're fighting. We never fight. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not, that's not an issue. It's not like we were screaming and yelling at each other every day, and then she was just like, I had enough, I gotta go. Nothing like that. We don't argue, we don't fight or anything like that. So this is just something that, essentially we became roommates, and that's a bad thing. So ultimately what my focus is like, okay, I need to get it back to when we weren't roommates, like when we weren't just roommates. And how do you do that? So that's simple to me. It's, you focus on the relationship and worry about that. And that's, and then as time moves forward, you go like, okay, I would like to introduce this into the marriage. How do we introduce this, and how is this okay? And what do we do? So sadly, this will be the final show for the foreseeable future of, Planet Nintendo for me, which sucks, because I love you, both you guys, man. I love doing the show. And I don't want to, I never wanted to let anybody down, if that makes sense. So that is a little upsetting. It's because I feel like ultimately, I'm letting people down, and that's not what I want to do. So I mean that is what it is. So that's where we're at. So I'm stepping away, and we'll hopefully I'll be back. Hopefully Patrick will want me back someday.
Stop.
If not, no. I mean, dude, you might find somebody to replace me, and
I know.
And I'm not gonna I'm gonna be like, okay, that guy needs to, like, I'm stepping down because I have to, and it's it's at the same time, like, if you brought in someone and you three clicked really well, I wouldn't expect you to just drop me or drop them to bring me in. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want the same thing to happen to me. Like, if I was here every week and you found somebody else and you were just like, yeah, you know what, Bobby, I'm not gonna have you on no more. That would suck. So I wouldn't, I'm not expecting anybody to wait for me. You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of what I got to do. And, but, so.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sure I can't speak for Joe, but you're always welcome back, dude. Anytime. Like, it could be whatever. And, we'll keep you guys updated. I don't know right now what we're going to do. Like, I don't really see us bringing on someone like permanent. Like, we had Joseph on last week and he did a great job. Like, big props to him, but we'll probably kind of make it more of a rotation. I like to bring light to some people, and there are a lot of people, even in our community, that are very new, but so talented. We have a bunch of people that are just like making channels now and stuff. So
James Johnson, bring Dr. Doom on, bring James on.
That'd be cool. But yeah, so
he could replace me. I'd be okay with Jams replacing me. That kid is awesome, man. Seriously, kid is amazing.
He does good stuff.
Funny as hell, dude. He's
awesome. So yeah, why don't we go into Bobby's topic? It makes the most sense going forward.
Okay.
Talking about all the games coming. So,
well, for me, it's more or less like what brought it to me was I felt like there was a lull after Christmas. Nintendo kind of like there was a lot of games coming, but nothing good. You know what I mean? Like, you have a few one-offs here and there that would like, oh, I want to get this, but nothing like the barrage that we saw from like October to December. So I just wanted to know, like, because I felt like this week was a big hit. Like, I bought 5 different games this week, and so I just wanted to know what you guys thought in terms of, like, is this now, here we go with the next big title wave of, like, here comes hit after hit after hit, or was this just a fluke, or what do you see the rest of 2018 being at this point
on?
Joe?
No. For me, I mean, I was looking at the Nintendo website and I was like, there's really not much more right now at the moment. Like, it's still unclear for me what's next. I mean, there's things like Payday, but that doesn't really interest me. Like, I'm curious about it, but I don't think it's gonna be for me. There's a couple indie games here and there, like Layers of Fear, that's being ported over to Switch that I'll probably pick up. But for me, I'm still waiting for that direct to happen. Whenever it happens, it's gonna tell me, like, okay, here's the lineup of, like, more games that are coming out, and more than just the Wii U ports that we're getting right now, with Hyrule Warriors and Donkey Kong. That's kind of where I stand right now with all that. It's I don't feel like there's like that wave of big hits. I think this was like a fluke for the moment. Like, all right, cool, we got these games. These are gonna last us a few weeks until Kirby Stars Allies comes out, Bobby's favorite game of the year, future game of the year, and then yeah, that's sort of where I stand right now.
Yeah, I think depending on how you look at it, we did have a bunch of games coming out, but the people that, I mean, you have to look at the people that did own a Wii U, did own these games. And for them, it might be like, oh, another wave of games that I'm not buying. So yeah. I think that we are kind of not in need of a direct, but it would be nice to kind of learn more about what this year has to bring. Thank God we've had so many good quality indies come out to kind of offset the release. But yeah, I mean, there's some games that excite me. Definitely going to pick up Kirby.
Well, okay, hold on. Let's stop the BS. So, I mean, a prime example is Bayonetta's a port, right?
Yep.
But you're saying you never played it before.
Exactly.
And you're loving it. So that's and that's where me as a Nintendo fan, I look at it and I go like, okay, I own Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Wii U. Maybe I could pass on it this time. But I was just like, I like that game a lot on the Wii U. And my Wii U is gone. Like, I packed it away and, like, I don't have it. So it's not readily available to pull back out and play again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could, but I don't feel like unpacking it and putting it up and all that stuff. And so that becomes the question of, like, I'm okay. And I've always been okay with the random throw-in of a Wii U. I think we're going to see a few more, but honestly, before this year's done. Because
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, because there are some really great games. Look at the Switch just surpassed the Wii U. Now, a lot of those Switches, I guarantee you that everybody that owned a Wii U didn't go out and buy a Switch. Guarantee you. So a lot of people are people that left Nintendo and are back and skipped the Wii U. So I'm fine with those people getting games that they never got before. And it also giving me the ability to jump back in and play these games again. I just feel like it's a good thing to let people go back. As long as, like, it's not months worth. It's not. You know, they did it this month, but next month is Kirby. I think the following week is Hyrule, or the following month is Hyrule Warriors. Yeah. And then I'm sure the following month they'll go back to an original, probably maybe Yoshi or something like that.
Following month is Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? So it's
and Hyrule Warriors doesn't have a date in the U.S. yet, but it's supposed to be coming out the end of March in Japan. So maybe we'll get it in April.
So wait a minute, is it, April's Donkey Kong Country then?
No, May is Donkey Kong Country Freeze, Tropical Freeze.
Okay, so then so we don't know what's in March.
We don't know what's in April. It probably will be in Hyrule. It probably will be Hyrule Warriors, though.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. I think March will probably be Hyrule Warriors.
Because Kirby comes out the 16th.
Yeah, Kirby's in March.
Yeah.
Oh, my time's messed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like a weird thing. Yeah, and yeah. I don't think we disagree with you there in terms of, like, you know, let those games come out. It's cool. But like there being like more.
Patrick and Josh Thomas are the only ones that don't like it. and truly, Patrick is just a drone of
Stop.
No, whatever stop. Josh says, Patrick's like, yes, sir, I love you, sir.
Yeah. We disagree on a lot of stuff.
Not really.
But I never picked up Bayonetta and Hyrule Warriors. My Lord and Savior Josh. No. But I'm excited just because I haven't played these games, but I have to look at the other side of it and being like, there must be some people that aren't excited about like what's going on. I mean, the next Direct, they'll show a bunch of games and everyone will be happy again. But for now, it's a little unsettling, to be completely honest.
Here's the thing: like, okay, you may not be excited for Bayonetta, but dude, there was a bunch of games that came out this week.
Yeah.
That could, like, Faye could be one that fills that void. You know what I mean? Like,
but I mean, we got heads up.
Aqua Kitty is a really good game, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's a fun shooter. There's been a bunch of stuff that hit this week. So, and that's what I'm getting at is like, are we going to get inundated with a bunch of it? Like, Zeo Drifter came out this week, another great game. Like, that's a port as well. But like, there might be people that miss Zeo Drifter. Like, if you missed it, go get it. It's a great game, you know. So that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering, like, next week there's a lot of big games coming out, and then the week after there's a lot of good games, and it's like we're hitting that point, like, where each week we're gonna start getting some. Like, I don't know if you guys have played Toki Tori 2.
Oh no, I saw that on there though.
That comes out next week, and if you buy it now, it's $9, and then next week when it actually launches, it goes up. They're kind of doing what Jules did.
Yeah, see what Jules did? I'm seeing that a lot more now too.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things of like, so I pre-bought it. I bought it already. It's on my Switch, ready to go. So next week I'll start playing it, and that's a great game. That's kind of Metroidvania-ish. It's a really good little game. So it's that's what I'm that when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the schedule that's coming up. I'm like, man, we're gonna get inundated with a lot of good games coming soon, and that's what I was kind of like I said, we hit a lull where nothing was coming, and now like Runner 3. It's in for QA, so that'll probably hit next month as well. Yep. which I'm so excited for that game. Like, I love that game. Owlboy just came out this week too.
Mhm.
Like, it's another one. Like, dude, it's crazy the amount of games.
Yeah. I'm personally fine until like April
Until
or
Josh
May.
tells you not to be.
Stop.
I am excited about Dark Souls, as crazy as that sounds when that comes out.
Yeah.
It's another one.
As far as big titles, as far as indie stuff goes, I want to dig back into Layers of Fear. I had it on the PC. I never actually finished that game, so it's like I feel like the Switch is like that console where it's like, oh, this is on Switch. All right, I want it. I'm gonna actually finish this game. And it's sort of become the finish this game device right now, which I'm totally fine with.
Yeah.
And then Mulaka is coming out. I think it's called Mulaka.
Yeah, Mulaka.
The hell is that?
It's
kind of like that 3D platformer that's like very stylistic, and it's coming out. It's kind of like Mexican themed.
Mm-hmm.
These guys play all the garbage.
They showed it on the direct.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
It was the last indie direct, right? That
I think so.
That it showed up on.
Yeah.
Pat, did you realize that me and Joe are in the same room this week?
Yeah.
I know. So they're doing a live thing over there.
We're doing a lot.
Oh man.
So speaking of indies, I wanted to kind of create a deeper conversation because we're getting some good indies, but like they're on another level. Like back when I remember Shovel Knight came out, and people were just they really loved that game, and then there wasn't really another mainstream indie for quite some time. And I think the word indie has changed. The word indie game has changed. Before it was like, oh guys, be easy on this game. It's an indie game, or it's only $5, but it's an indie game. But I think now it's like when you say indie game, people are like, okay, like how good is it? Because to me, there are different tiers of indie games. There's like the crap toilet, and then there's like really good, like
I think
really
there's
good games.
Shovelware is a good
Shovelware
for that. Just garbage,
Not
like
crap toilet. You don't like that?
like that billiards. Like that's just shit.
That's good.
Just why would you buy that game?
So my question or topic to you guys is, where do you see the indie game scene now, and where do you see it in a year? And I just mentioned this because we've gotten games like, don't say anything, Bobby, Celeste. We've got,
so bad.
I mean, even games like Yooka-Laylee, like indie developers are starting to make bigger projects. So I'll start with Bobby because you have your indie games that you like to dive into.
So my thing is this: I think we're starting to hit an area that is worrisome for the indies. And why I say that is this: they're putting out these games that are bigger in terms of like the quality of the aesthetics and all that, but like the games are still rather short. They're not like really long games, and that makes me a little nervous because they're putting more time and energy into it, but where do you warrant the extra money that you would be charging for that such thing? I agree. Like I look at a game like Faya, and I look at a game like SteamWorld Dig 2. These games come out, and it's just like they are starting to move the needle to a different level. And they actually, Zoink and Image and Form actually combined to form a new company. And moving forward, they'll be working together on titles and stuff, and pulling resources and such. But I wonder. Because the problem is like there's so many indie games hitting, and it's like, where do you find the good ones in the trash? And that's where it becomes difficult to like. There's so much stuff hitting right now that it's like, well, what's good, what's bad? But I feel like in certain indies, not all, certain indies are starting to take on the role of second party. It used to be first party was Nintendo, third party was Away, and then second party was kind of under the like a second party is similar to like a like a retro or something like that. So I'm wrong with that. But it was third parties, but they were like AAA third parties, and then like a double A triple party, third party, and that's where I feel like when you go back, you looked at like Acclaim and Iguana, and like there was companies that kind of went away for a long period of time, but they were making good quality games, but they weren't like EA and Capcom and Konami, but they were still good, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's where indies, like there's a new level starting to happen. You got indies here, and then you have like these I guess super indies that are starting to like rise up and go a little bit better and above the indies. So it's interesting to see. Like so like Blossom Tales, right? Blossom Tales is a really good game, but it's short. You know what I mean? And then like you look at It'll Do Too, and it's like a really good game, but it's short. And it's like, so that's where I feel like if these games now start to get the longevity in them and start to grow, I think ultimately what it boils down to is, do they get the fun from those to push them a little further? You know what I mean? Because it takes money and resources. And you figure if a game takes you a couple years to build and develop, you got to recoup some money. You can't, these guys, like EA can go 5 years because they've got so many titles hitting that it's like, okay, this money is going to pay for this development and this money is going to pay for this development, so on and so forth. That's where these guys need to either get funding, or they need to sell like gangbusters. Like you look at Yacht Club. Yacht Club sold so much stuff that they've literally just done nothing for 5, 6 years. I mean, they've done like
that Shovel Knight DLC.
The DLC, but what I mean by that is like, a lot of that was free DLC. Like if you were a backer and all that stuff, like that stuff was all free, and like it wasn't a lot of money. So that's what I mean by that. Like they haven't really done nothing, because some of the stuff that they did was part of that free, you know, initial buy. Like if you bought the game, you got DLC for free and stuff. So it's a little interesting to see. But I feel like it's a gray area, and it's a really gray area. So I feel like they're right there at the cusp of taking it to the next level. Like I look at a game like Faya, right, and how gorgeous that game is. Now, if that game would have went to maybe like 30 to 40 hours long of gameplay, then you might go like, wow, that's actually like another tier. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it might be, because how long did it take you to beat, Joe?
About 5 hours.
Okay.
I think that's probably dude, I don't even know how much more confusing you can get that story if it were a 30-40 hour game.
But I'm just saying, like, they could have.
You got to eat shrooms, Joe, when you play.
Oh my god!
But I'm just saying, like, you could, you know, even like a game like SteamWorld Dig 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that game was only 10 hours or something like that. Like, so it's like it's there, but it needs to take the next step. It needs to go to the next level. It needs to be more expansive and a little more opened up.
I think there's two factors that really like hold indies back. Not even hold indies back, but like pricing and length. I don't think that indie games have gotten to the point where people are willing to pay more than $20. And I saw it really like come onto the surface when Celeste came out, and people were like, "Now $20, it's a pixel game." Owlboy just came out, and that's 24, I believe. Yeah. So
that did not stream well, I'll tell you. Man, whew, that was interesting.
What was wrong with it?
Everyone was like talking about the price point, exactly what you're saying right now. It was like $24, and it looks like this. I was like, guys, it's more about.
I don't know what they're talking about. It looks like this. Like, that's like the most beautiful indie
game. It was crazy. I was like, you guys pay $60 for a Call of Duty game that, you know, some people will pay for just a campaign. I'm one of those people. I want to pay for story, and the game looks great. Like I don't understand what's wrong with that, but okay, if you don't want to pay $24, you don't have to pay $24.
But Joe, can you explain to everyone what Faye went through? Because Faye is a part of something called EA Originals.
Yeah.
So why don't you explain like that? Because it did get some kind of funding, I guess. in a way.
Yeah, it got backed.
Yeah, it got backed. Basically, it's backed by EA, and they were the first game. Bobby, correct me. This is the first EA Originals game, right?
No, it's the second.
Or is this the second one? What was it?
Unravel was the first one.
Unraveled. I forgot about. I
such
forget
a good
that
game.
one. But yeah, basically Zoink developed the game, but it's licensed. It's published by EA, so they paid for those costs for this game to be made. Which it was a whole process for them. I mean, Bobby was saying 5 years. Yeah. For them to make a game like this, they haven't done a 3D game in quite some time. Probably going back to Wii, I want to say. I forget the name of the title, but there was a thing with the doll. You stick the Wii remote in the mouth and shake it. It was really weird.
What?
I'll look it up. I'll send it to you. I forget the name of the thing.
Yeah.
But it was like a rhythm game or something like that. But then you go to things like, Stick It to the Man, Zombie Vikings, and eventually Flipping Death. Like, that's been more the style that they've been known for. So to jump into something like this big, it's going to cost a lot of time and money. So that's probably how, the conversations were probably had in EA doing this. Probably took a bite and was like, hey, listen, we'll back this under this program.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and with this program, though, EA is still looking for what in theory, what this EA Originals is EA will fund it, but they're also looking for the turnaround to still be an indie turnaround. EA essentially is putting out a new game every single year under this EA Originals. That's the game plan. This year will probably be 2 games because Faya went a little deeper than it was supposed to. Faya was supposed to actually launch last year, and it pushed a little bit further than it was supposed to. The year before was Unravel, and then last year was supposed to be Faya, and then this year it was A Way Out. It was the other.
Okay,
yeah, that's the next one coming.
Yeah.
And let's just be clear for a second. EA published this game, so don't be like, "Oh, I'm not buying this because EA." Like, this is a Zoink game. Like,
it's a Zoink game through and through. 110%. It's a Zoink game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all these like jokes about it, and come on.
The Reddit feed that my video got shared on somehow. That's the reason why the preview blew up as much as it did.
Yeah.
People were talking about that was part of the conversation. Other than talking about Tails and people wanting Tails and stuff, that was in there, it's still there. People, I'll tell you the whole conversation later. There was a bit of conversation like, I'm not gonna buy this game because it's EA and all that stuff. And, like, Battlefront seems to have done a lot of damage to their reputation.
Yeah,
it's hurt them bad.
Yeah.
So you guys want to talk about anything else? We only had like 2 topics.
Listen, this is the end, man. So we might as well just we can chat for a few minutes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like we can.
Let's keep going, Joe. Let's keep him here. He's not leaving.
I have to do another show in like 20 minutes.
No, we're gonna grab. Oh, it's gonna be weird because you're actually gonna be on the other side when I put the videos together.
Oh,
I could switch it. If that's okay with it. I put Pat front and center.
Well, you can't put me. Patrick gets upset if he's not in the middle.
Yeah. You get upset.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's okay. You're on the other side. I love you. Okay.
That's funny. We could if Patrick would have put a green screen up there, it would have looked cool.
Oh my God. He's got to put the blue screen there.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it would be awesome. Get on the left side.
Oh my God.
I want to talk about something for a second because, Bobby, you bring up the whole like balancing life and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk about doing YouTube and doing content as a whole. I feel like people they realize that work goes into it, but a lot of work goes into a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for breaking the fourth wall here, I mean, we record this show for about an hour. I would say not much editing goes into it, probably another hour. And then, we schedule it and we look for feedback and stuff. But like some of these other videos that we're doing, even little things like creating logos and stuff, like us three, we don't do this for money, really. I mean, we're not doing this as a job.
We're not making money off of it.
Yeah.
We're doing it. I mean, it would be nice if we made money, but we're not. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I personally tend to get frustrated when YouTube plays games because it's like, dude, I'm barely making a nickel as it is, and then you're just gonna like play games with me, and that's where the frustration comes in ultimately.
Yeah.
It's like, just leave me alone, man. Let me do my thing, you know.
I just wanted to like ask you guys a little bit about what you guys do off camera and all the work that goes into it, because I feel like people are a little interested in knowing about that. There's people that want to create channels and start channels. I just say that because I think for channels to grow right now, nowadays, I think gone are the days where you do a video a week or a video every 2 weeks. Like there used to be channels like that. And even with my channel, I've started reducing the number of videos I do a week, and people have noticed it. But it's honestly like I went from doing things every single day to like reining it back a little bit. And I think the whole balance thing comes from that. So I don't know if you guys have anything else.
For me, what I was doing was when I ramped it up at the beginning of the summer, this past year, I had a goal. Like I said to my wife, I had said like I'm gonna give it to the end of summer. If I can't, at the time I was around 400 subs, and I was like, if I can't get to 1,000 subs by the end of the summer, I'm shutting it down. I'm like, but I'm gonna bust my ass to do it. And so essentially what happens is, I mean, you have to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on. That's number one. So you're constantly scouring the internet and trying to be on top of the news and the topics and being relevant. So that's number one. Number two is you have to record the video. And the one thing that I learned from the beginning to now is the way I was recording like NintenTalk and stuff like that. Like it's one thing to just record a video and talk to a camera. It's another thing to put some production behind it and have some quality to it. And I think back to there's a guy that the podcast called PSVG, Kevin. I'm just gonna be honest and say he basically when I was saying stuff about like the money and the demonetization and all that stuff, he was like, well, it doesn't cost anything to do anything. Yeah, look, I could easily put a camera here, record, and it's not going to be that expensive. But you know what? It's going to look like dog shit at the end of the day. And I feel like I don't want to watch a YouTube channel that looks like shit. It looks like some kid in a closet recording. Like, I don't want to watch that. So I don't want to put that out. You can do that. You can make garbage quality stuff, and that's fine. But I also feel like if your thumbnails aren't a particular look, you're not going to get views. If you if you don't have some type of decent music behind it, it's not going to, like, there's all these things. Like, dude, Adam Leonard did a lot of the artwork for me and all the other people. Like, there's money that goes into that. That's not free. Adam didn't just come to me and be like, here you go, Bobby. Here's 15 different logos for you to use and all that stuff. Like, it takes time and money and effort to do all this and to do it to a certain level. And yeah, you can go by and you can just do it, skimp by and be bare minimum, you know what I mean? But like, and that's all well and good. But like, I look at PSVG and yeah, they're doing it the cheapest way they possibly can because they don't believe in Patreon and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like, they're running 5-6 different podcasts through one RSS feed, and it's like, no, that's not quality. I don't feel that's quality. Like, don't do that. Like, that's not the way you want it to be. You need, for me, I've got all these different shows. I had RSS feeds for every single show. That's money. That costs. I could easily do everything on one RSS feed. But you know what? What I learned very quickly is Joe might be a person that listens to the Planet Nintendo podcast, but he don't want to hear the Gaming Gurus. He don't want to hear Nintendo Talk Live, but he might want to hear the thing with me and Jules. So now he's got to listen to 4 different shows just to get the 2 that he likes, or I inundate his feed with all. So I look at it and I go, like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into all that we're doing. So, and I kind of got derailed a little bit there, and I apologize. But like, when you look at it and you go, like, when I start and I record a video, and then I get done the video, and I have to edit the video, and then I have to do a thumbnail for the video, and then I have to put the video up. And then you just don't put the video up. You then have to go advertise the video and drop the video place and put links place. And then I also would stick around for a couple hours and reply. I try to reply to every single person that left a comment. That's time, man. That takes time. Because I got news for you. PewDiePie puts a video up, and you'd be lucky if he replies to one person.
Yeah, or even likes it.
Or even likes the thing. I go through, I'll like and love everybody that puts a positive comment to me in. I reply even to the haters as well as the good people. Like, dude, that all takes time. That's all, it's not a quick do a video, pot it up, oh, and I'm gonna be successful. Like, it doesn't. There's a lot of work that goes into all this, and it's a huge balancing act. Huge. Even Twitch. Like, Twitch isn't like you think. Like, you think it's just a matter of like, oh, I just go and I get a camera and I get a thing and I turn it on, I start streaming. Like, dude, you got to have the game. You got to have, which again, that costs money. Like, Joe, he spends a lot of money on games, dude. Like, that's one aspect of it. Two, dude, you can't just like, you could be the person that just sits there.
Yeah.
You can be boring as fuck if you want to at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But like, people kind of want you to engage with them and talk to them and all that stuff. And that, honestly, that's why when I look at like what Joe does, dude, it's phenomenal. He's reading the text in different voices all across. Like, he's putting time and production into it. And then he streams for 5, 6, 7, 8, 15 hours in a shot. You know what I mean? Like, that's all production. That's all time. That's all, and it blows me away when you watch, because Joe and I had a conversation about this when I first was starting Twitch, and he was helping me set some stuff up, and I'm like, dude, there's people that are horrible streamers, and got tens of thousands of subs or followers on the Twitch world, and it's a lot of TNA. And it's like, I look at what Joe does, and I watch some of these other people, and I'm like, how the hell do they have what they have, and how doesn't he have what he has? And it blows my mind. Every day. So there is, for me, there's a lot. And and that's why, ultimately, like, I felt like the need to step back, because it was like, I couldn't find that balance. Yeah. I couldn't find that balance, and sadly, it at the end of the day, it might have cost me something that's near and dear to my heart. But at the end of the day, it's like, you need to figure out, A, how important it is what you're doing, and B, you need to go in with blinders off, that it's gonna take time. It's gonna be hard work. It's not a matter of like, flip a couple switches and everything's great. Like, dude, it takes work. It takes time. This is no lie, I would, I work 40 plus hours a week at my job. As far as what I did YouTube wise, anywhere from another 20 to 30 hours a week in YouTube and podcasting and all that stuff. That's a lot of time, dude. Yeah. It's a lot of time.
Whenever someone like has interest at all in starting a channel, because there's been some people that have come up to me and like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. I'm like, do you have an extra 5 to 7 hours a week?
Yeah.
It's essentially almost like a part-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask Joe too, because like, me and Bobby are big, like, I know Bobby's been streaming, but we like make content and like make videos where you stream, whereas like you're seeing all of your work go into that, where like most of our hours come off the screen, yours is on the screen. So I wanted to talk to you about like streaming, like time. And
I mean, you guys know I do all the editing after the fact too, so it's like, it's a little bit of A and B. So like, yeah, I'm seeing the feedback in the moment with a lot of the games that I'm playing, and the stupid stuff that I do with Miyamoto disapproving and me chauffeuring the entire directors of NOA. It's an interesting time. But yeah, like I'll sit there, I'll stream. Normally, like, I have my schedule posted up on there, so I'll do 4 days a week normally. For 4 hours is like the minimum. Like, I say, hey, I'm going usually until midnight. that usually ends up not happening, and I'll go and end a stream at like 1 a.m. or something like that because we're all really into the game that's going on. And then, we'll cut it out there. And from there, I cut the stream, I have dinner, and then I'm either editing for another hour and a half or so, like just to get things started. And I'm usually using that hour and a half after streams to, get things set up for the YouTube side, where then I'm cutting these up episodically. Usually what I'll end up doing is like Wednesday becomes like my day where I get home from work and I'm editing for maybe 4 or 5 hours to get everything ready to go for the upcoming week. So it's like I'm doing things like a week ahead for the YouTube side, even though it's already streams that I've done. Or if I know that I'm finishing up a series on the next day, then I got to get those videos ready to go for Friday and into the weekend and so on and so forth. And it's like this week in particular where like a million different games came out that were really awesome. I'm like bouncing back and forth between 5 different games on stream. I'm like, hey guys, this is going to be a little bit hectic. Here's what's happening. You want to see this first, or should we continue this game that we left off? And you start throwing voting polls, and then you go from there and start getting the crowd engagement that way. With Bayonetta 2 in particular, it was fun because I got to have people vote on what outfits we should be wearing at one point, which got really interesting. I'm surprised Samus won first. I was actually pretty happy about that.
That's
and
awesome.
Then, we got to
you got Bobby in there. Put on the peach costume.
That's what I'm wearing.
I was, I swear, I thought that was gonna win, but yeah, at the end result, like I'm streaming a total of probably, if you want to make it an even 4 hours for 4 days, it's 16 hours. That usually ends up being 20 hours, and by the end of the month I've somehow racked up like 90 to 100 hours of streaming a month. And that's a part-time. You got people like Bobo Chet who freaking stream from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning, and they're doing it Monday through Friday, and it's like I wish I could do that if I had the schedule, but like Bobby, I'm working, and like you, Patrick, I'm working 40 plus hours a week, and I'm also on call 24/7. So I've had to stop streams to go to work sometimes, which sucks. I get a phone call, there's an emergency, I gotta go. So it's like I'm up. I get all hours. I'll get calls in the middle of the night before I get to sleep, and it's like, oh crap! All right, well, going to work, and then I gotta go back to work. I'll put it this way: Monday through Friday is my normal job. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I go home. I get home hopefully by 6:30, 7 o'clock because of, MTA just sucks in New York City. And it, rush hour is just terrible. That's just how it is. I get home. I might eat something, and then, I'll go straight into either streaming if it's a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. If it's Wednesday, I'm sitting here editing, and then I actually see the missus because she works overnight. So it's like, all right, well, that's like the one day we get to see each other for a little bit, for a few hours, aside from the weekends. So doing that, and I'm up until 3 a.m. working on Twitch stuff, changing up layouts, overlays, trying to see if there's anything with GIFs that I can come up with that's goofy enough, because I love my GIFs and I love coming up with wacky ass stories. And
AKA go subscribe to that man. A lot of stuff goes on after, and I just wanted to bring, because like with Bobby taking a break, I've thought about shutting it down a couple times on my stuff, but and I told this when me and Bobby had a private conversation. I was like, dude, you could shut it down for a month or 5 months. I've never seen a group of people as dedicated to one person. Like, you talk about me and Josh, like people love you, dude. Like,
yeah,
and it's true. I mean, and that's what you were telling me. Like, that's the hardest part of doing this is, I mean, besides your life, is just walking away from these people, because they come to you first for everything, like reviews, opinions, and that's good to have. And that's why I didn't want to leave. Like, there are people that like me and like you guys, so it's hard.
I have a feeling I'll be back in some capacity. You know, if it's, I look at it like this: if we wind up getting divorced, then I'll wind up coming back regardless, because I'll need the support. You know what I mean? And this place has major support. If we get back together, I told you, Patrick, privately, like, I'm going to revamp the way I do things, and she will be much more involved in what I do. And her and I even had that conversation because, you know, it's not so much the conversations we haven't been so much that like we're getting divorced. The conversation's just been like, we need a break. She needs a break to figure things out. And then, but she's talked about it like, hey man, but when I come, you know, if we get back together, like, I just need more time for me. And I'm like, but she's telling me, I want you to still do YouTube and stuff. I'm like, well, if I do that, you're going to be more involved. You're going to do stuff with me, you know, like, and I talked to, you know, like I said, I talked to you about that, Patrick, and everybody I kind of say that to is like, hey man, that's a pretty good idea. And, you know, the people that know her, well, the thing of it is, the people that know her, they love her. You know what I mean? Like, she comes to the streams and everybody's like, hey, how you doing? And all that. So it's like the people, as much as they love me, they love her too. They probably love her more than they love me, honestly. But that's, you know, that's kind of awesome, you know. And again, it goes back to where we are with all this. So I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. But I think that's episode 22 is in the books. I don't want to end it, guys. I'm not crying. You are. But yeah, I want to give a big thanks to Bobby. This all came when Bobby, like, talking about doing a podcast, and then he's like, wait a second, let's get Joe on here, and that was the best decision. So we're gonna continue to entertain you guys for an hour a week, and yeah, we will see more of you. This is not the end. So one final sign off. I am Patrick from NintenTalk, and take it away, guys.
Bobby? Yeah, you, me, I don't know.
You go ahead, Joe. You go first.
Good at this.
YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all at Joe After Work.
You can follow me, Instagram, Twitter, at Nintendo Gurus. Real quick, thank you guys, everybody from this channel. You guys have been amazing to me, and I love you all. Thank you for the support, and peace, motherfuckers.